This edition of the Impact Podcast is brought to you by Trajectory Energy Partners. Trajectory Energy Partners brings together landowners, electricity users, and communities to develop solar energy projects with strong local support. For more information on how Trajectory is leading the solar revolution, please visit trajectoryenergy.com. Welcome to another edition of the Impact Podcast. This is a very special edition of the Impact Podcast. We're so lucky to have with us today David Osborne. He's the CEO of Virgin Pulse. Welcome to Impact, David.
Thanks, John. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, you and I, we're still living through this tragic COVID period. I'm sitting here in Fresno. I believe you're on the East Coast in Boston or Rhode Island area, but I still feel like we're sort of sitting next to each other in an office. It actually works. We were talking a little bit off air before we started, and it's really this technology really seems to be working out for us.
Yeah, the only difference is you're in the warm and I'm in the cold right now.
That would be true. I can't make that up, and that would be true. But anyway, for our listeners out there, this is going to be a really timely show. Virgin Pulse is doing very important things, and David, I want you to go through all the important things that you're doing at Virgin Pulse with you and your colleagues. But before we get into that, share a little bit about the David Osborne story, how you even got here, and what was your background before being named the CEO of Virgin Pulse?
Sure, happy to. I was in private equity for a while, not as a deal guy, but as an operator. I've had a lot of experience running software companies or pieces of software companies. And so I was working for a company in New York that was majority owner of Virgin Pulse about 6 years ago. Insight Venture Partners, a great company. And they said, hey, look, we got this opportunity. We got this company called Virgin Pulse. They just acquired two companies, two competitors of theirs. The executive team is fantastic. They don't have a ton of integration experience. Maybe with your background, I've integrated lots of companies and bought lots of companies. Could you jump in there, help them integrate, and then come back? And I said, sure. And then I joined. And about 6 months later, I just said, I don't want to come back. I love what these guys are doing. This is a great business. It's a great set of people and team and culture. And I saw this opportunity to really not just consolidate this industry, but fix it or at least innovate around it. Because I don't think that the healthcare industry is necessarily fixable right now. And I never really looked back. And they appointed me CEO about eight to 10 months after that. And here we are.
Now, let me see if I got this right. You know, I read a lot about you. I read a lot about this great company. For our listeners out there, to find Virgin Pulse, I'm on their website now. It's a gorgeous website, chock full of tons of information. Go to www.virginpulse.com. You're the world's largest digital health and well-being company, serving over 7 million employees at 3,100 companies?
Well, we actually have about close to 15 million members now on the platform.
Whoa.
Yeah.
15 million members.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a second. Let's step back. Talk about when the journey started for Virgin Pulse, how it was invented, Richard Branson's involvement, and
Sure.
Now where are you in the journey now, and what services do you offer that you think are compelling to get 15 million people at over 3,000 companies? It's got to be some kind of compelling, great services you offer.
Yeah. Richard Branson started the company about 15 years ago. More as an activity-based company, like, just get active, I think is what it was. And they've changed names and brands a few times. We've just kind of transformed that from activity to almost everything health and well-being, because health and well-being is not just about getting your steps in. It's mental resilience, financial wellness, sleep, nutrition, fill in the blank. And we went down that path for a few years. And then about 3 years ago, we said, look, we need to take this to even the next level and really help members navigate the complexity of the healthcare system, at least domestically, and get into more, ROI driven population health. How do we solve for gaps in care and really solve for health outcomes? And, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I almost equate it to, I've been on record saying this before, almost like the taxi cab industry, right? That is a broken industry. And one could say, if you've ever tried to hail a taxi cab at 5 o'clock in New York when we're on their shift switch, impossible, right? So companies like Uber and Lyft, they didn't try and fix the taxi cab industry. They just innovated around it. And we're doing the same thing. We don't think we can fix the healthcare industry, but we can certainly innovate around it. And we can put everything health and well-being and employee engagement and really navigating the complexity of the healthcare system from, like I said, activity to sleep, nutrition, digital therapeutics, benefit navigation, care guidance onto one platform that people can, come back to and just kind of get it all in one shot. So that's what we've done. That's where we've gone, and that's where we're going.
Who is, I'm so intrigued. I'm the chairman of our company here. We've got 1,000 employees. I was reading all about you, studying the website, studying all the literature about you. And I'm like, this would be something we want to use. Who makes the decisions on these kind of critical issues? Is it the chairmans or CEOs, or is it human resources directors? Who are you pitching to? Who are you appealing to on a day-to-day basis when you're out there doing business development?
Yeah, sure. Generally, it rolls into head of benefits.
Okay.
I mean, employers and payers buy the platform as a benefit for their employees. They roll it out as a benefit. They often give, there's an extrinsic motivation. They'll give incentives, like maybe it could be a discount off your health premium, or an influx of cash stipend into your HSA or something like that. Like, just get healthy, right? We all know that a healthy employee shows up at work better and ready to perform at their peak. So we usually sell into the benefits area. However, with the pandemic and COVID-19, it is certainly reaching the C-suite, and I think we're seeing more and more CEOs get more involved with health and well-being and trying to figure out how do we do what's best for our employees and keep our employees and keep them healthy and safe.
We're going to come back to health and COVID and everything that regarding wellness, but let's go back to the issue of culture, corporate culture. How are you involved with the corporate culture issues, and why is keeping corporate culture set, advertised within the company, message outside of the company, and maintaining it, actually working on it? Why is that so important to what you do?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think it's changed too when you've got, as you know, everybody's been working from home for a long time. And
right.
And I think the whole work from home dynamic is forever changed, right? Even post-COVID. If I think about our company, we have about a third of our employees. We have about 1,500 employees.
Okay.
And about a third of them are remote. So they're not around an office.
Okay.
And I think remote hiring has become a big thing now. You read all about
right.
Silicon Valley and I would probably say a year ago, a programmer sitting in Charleston, South Carolina is not going to pick up a phone when Palo Alto calls them. Right. But now they're going to pick up the phone and go, I can work from home and do this great job. And, so I think that remote hiring is bigger than ever. And we're going to do more remote hiring as well. So if a third of our company is remote, about a third of our company after this pandemic, I'm guessing, and this is a guess, John, is probably going to want to stay at home regardless. Right. And then a third are going to want to come in, and it's almost like the center of excellence concept. Like, they're going to want to come to the office. So driving a good culture is absolutely critical in that environment. And I think it becomes more critical. And if I think about what the pandemic, I'll approach your question a little bit about what the pandemic has taught us.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I want to go into that.
I think we communicate better now to our employees than we ever have. We really kind of have no choice. Like, we do daily stand-ups. I've switched our town halls from quarterly town hall to a monthly town hall. So we almost like over communicate, if you will. And I think that I think companies, as they venture into a more of a, what I would call a flexible work from home policy, which was hard for us, John, because we had a very collaborative environment. We've got this beautiful office in Providence, Rhode Island. We built it from scratch.
Right.
Took over a building.
Yeah.
It's got these great, well, you can see it in the background. I know that you're
listening. It's gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. Yeah.
I call it Silicon Valley for $21 a square foot. It's an amazing place.
That's
but
awesome.
At the end of the day, we had a culture of collaboration. We celebrated wins together. We learned from our losses. But as we go into the post-pandemic world, then we're just going to see that a lot of people are going to want to work from home. And we've proven to ourselves, more importantly, that our people can be very productive at home. They really can. The question now is, how do you to your point, how do you create or continue on with this great culture that we have? And I think it's be more transparent, which we are, communicate better, which we've done, be more agile, think about new ways of thinking, think about new ways of collaborating. We celebrate success with our employees probably more than we used to. We focus on health and well-being, as you can imagine. We do a lot more social challenges to keep everybody engaged around the world, and and just make sure we have the right kind of remote work from home policies, procedures, stipends, if you will, and all that kind of thing. So
It's so interesting what you said. We do the same thing. I used to have quarterly town halls and I do it monthly,
mhm.
and it works. But because of the unique position where you sit in, David, you have 15 million members, over 3,000 corporate clients that you represent. The data that you must be picking up. So, do you believe your path forward represents how other companies are going to be moving forward as well, in terms of those who are going to stay at home versus those who are going to come to the office and things of that such? Or is that just unique to your company, which was used to a certain way, and other companies might break differently? What are you sensing from the other CEOs and other, your constituency base who you
Yeah.
represent?
I think there's two questions there, and they're both really good ones. One is the data part on our
Yeah.
members. The other one is the
Yeah.
what other CEOs are doing with work from home. I think everybody's will have flavors of what I just said.
Yeah.
There are going to be some. I don't think anybody's going to go back to a model of I'm forcing people to come back to the office.
Okay.
I think remote hiring is, like I said, is becoming bigger. I think that we're going to see most companies try and meet employees where they are, and just try and do good for them more than anything. And I think Salesforce came out with something today that was very similar to what we're doing, right? Like, you're going to have remote, you're going to have people that are going to come in, you're going to have people that might want to come in just a couple days a week. And I love the idea of, if you're close to an office and you can come in, let's not do, again, post-pandemic, let's not do Zoom calls with clients from our bedroom anymore. Let's come to the office and do them. That would be great. I think that's step one. If we can
Okay,
get
that's
there.
interesting. But that's interesting. I like that. Okay.
Yeah. No more, FedEx guys ringing the doorbell, so, but we got to meet employees where they are. And there's still people that are homeschooling, for example. And
Right.
again,
Right.
people can be productive at home, and we need to make sure that we're as flexible as we can be.
For those listeners and viewers that have just joined us, we're so lucky to have with us today David Osborne. He's the CEO of Virgin Pulse. To find David and his great company and colleagues, please go to www.virginpulse.com. David, I don't make this show political, never have in 13 years, but we just came out of very different times, politically speaking, and we're talking about health and well-being now. And now we've moved into the Biden administration, where Kamala Harris, obviously, first woman vice president, half Black, half Southeast Asian. Talk a little bit about the times that we live in, and diversity, equity, and inclusion actually having a huge part of health and well-being of corporate employees.
Sure. Well, I think diversity and equity inclusion is the linchpin, really. It's not an input like how many hours did I sleep that night. It is all about employee well-being, candidly. And if these are off, then the company's off. If these are off, no one is well. No one will feel safe at work. No one will feel heard at work. No one will feel like they're compensated appropriately at work. No one will feel they have a path for growth. So if these are off, I would argue and say no one is well. So we have to foster radical inclusion, candidly, and the data is there. Like, companies that are great at diversity, equity, inclusion just are better companies, and they're more successful. And I think organizations, they need to be intentional in embedding DEI into all aspects of their culture. Like I said, it's not an input. It's not a bolt on. It is just part of your culture. It has to be part of the organization. I love it, candidly. And it's a great recruiting tool. I think I read an article a while ago that 8 out of 10 candidates that were interviewed said that inclusion is one of the most important things when choosing an employer. So, that's just the way it is.
That's great. Home base for health. I know you have this digital platform called Home Base for Health. I want to understand what that means for Virgin Pulse and all of your members, but also does it tie back to, and is it also going to continue to expand because of COVID and now what we're all doing with Hydro, Mira, and Peloton and all the opportunities that we now have found to work at home, work out at home with instead of going to the gym with?
Yeah, sure. Home Base for Health is really where we're driving our platform. It's the one place to go for everything health and well-being,
Okay.
whether it's activity, sleep, nutrition, mental health, financial health, women's health, family health, digital therapeutics, dealing with diabetes prevention and cure, hypertension, gaps in care, population health, benefit navigation, really everything that's health and well-being and navigating the complexity of the healthcare system. So it's everything that you can imagine on one platform where people go to every single day. And the beautiful thing about Virgin Pulse and our platform is our members that are on the platform come back and use it. 60% of them use it daily,
Oh
which
my God.
is unbelievable. It's a number we're really proud of. And I I'm an ex-college golfer. I don't know if you read that or not, but
Yeah.
I used
You're
to
an
say
athlete.
to people, if you played golf once a year, you would not get any better. And
Right,
candidly, if
right.
you played golf once a month, you wouldn't get any better. Health and well-being is the same way. If I took care of myself once a year, once a month, I would not get any better. I would probably get worse, and I'd atrophy from a health and well-being standpoint. So it's a daily activity. It doesn't have to be massive. It's the platform is very personalized. Home Base for Health is very personalized. So what you might be focused on, John, today could be sleep and stress, and I might be focused on activity, nutrition, and the platform uses artificial intelligence to understand who I am and who you are, and it'll roll out data, content, programs that are very specific for you to work on that day or that week or that month, and it'll roll out very different things for me based on what my numbers are and what's important to me. So
David, we were a little personal before we got on the show, and I said how great you look, and it's like so nice to meet a leader, who really looks. You walk the walk, you talk the talk. I said you look about 40. You told me you were a little bit older, and I'm 58, and I try to live well. Now I'm wearing my Garmin watch that counts my steps and all the stuff. Has this made our lives better, or has it just made us? I'm already, a little bit obsessive compulsive anyway. Does it make me a little bit more cuckoo when it comes to that stuff, or is that really a good thing that it's making me more cognizant of what I'm doing and making me get my 10,000, 15,000 steps a day and forcing me to be, a better, the best self I can be?
yeah, I think it's a good thing. And again, you don't stare at your Garmin all day long, but
No.
it's just data, right, John?
Right,
And not
right.
knowing how much is like I wear the Oura ring, right? So I'm really focused
love
on my
that.
sleep right now. So
Yeah.
and I think it's just understanding how am I sleeping? When did I go to bed? How many hours did I sleep? That's important to me. How
That's
much
right.
activity or how many steps did you get? That's important to you. We collect about 12.5 billion data points a month from our members, and that allows us to feed it into artificial intelligence, machine learning, and basically offer up recommendations. And because our recommendations are so spot on, and because we're so good at getting people to use the platform and follow those recommendations, we're actually able to show outcomes and change lives for good and deliver an ROI that I think the industry needs to see. So I think it's a good thing, John. And
Okay.
long answer to your question. So
No, and it's a great answer to the question. Now let's talk about what you've seen, what we've all seen, those who have been paying attention, obviously, during this COVID-19 tragic period. We have so many breaks in the healthcare system that we didn't really realize before. Maybe someone like you realize it because that's the world you live in. But a layman like me, a business person, entrepreneur, didn't really realize how chaotic and how broken our system is. Now, I don't know if you've gotten the vaccine yet. I haven't gotten the vaccine yet, but there's so much misinformation out there. Is part of what your evolution is? Are you going to continue to push technology to help bring services and opportunities, just like we're going towards personalized medicine? Will your platform stay cutting edge in terms of delivering best services and best opportunities for healthcare for your constituents and members?
yeah, absolutely. We invest heavily in innovation every year, and every year we invest more in R&D. And again, we're not done with our home base for health vision, but we're getting really close. But to your point, I mean, people are going to come out of this pandemic somewhat broken. Whether it's mental health is a huge impact right now to employees. Substance abuse is on the rise. Obesity is increasing. Musculoskeletal issues are becoming more prevalent due to people just not being active. I used to say that sitting's the new smoking. You have to get active. So, our platform offers up tools and resources to establish new habits in this, what I would call new norm. It's personalized, like I mentioned. It kind of meet employees where they are, what's important to them. But more importantly, John, is make it easy for them to find, whether it's if you have an EAP program or coaching or, activity, nutrition, mental health, et cetera. Make it easy to find. Employees don't want to log on to 10 different things to figure out how to get healthier and how to get better. And then the whole isolation component too, right? Like the social challenges and bringing your organization closer together to continue to be involved as an organization and as a person. I think that's really important. But we will continue to innovate as fast as we can and bring kind of the home base for health vision to completion.
Okay, before we talk about the future, I just want to ask you, because you and I talk, we're both walkers, to stay healthy, and especially during these times with gyms closed and stuff. How many steps a day is ideal? Now, I know it's very personalized and everybody's different, but if you were to say, because I'm like you, the desk I'm sitting at right now is a standing desk as well. I happen to be sitting while I interview you. But if sitting is the new smoking, how many steps a day just to get our blood going and get ourselves going is really good to do, because you hear all sorts of numbers.
Well, first and foremost, I am not a doctor, so
okay.
I can cite the research. I mean, I strive. Let me tell you what I strive to. I strive for 10,000 steps a day.
Okay.
I try and do something a little bit more active, whether it's running on occasion, not daily, but probably at least 3 or 4 times a week. But to your point is, you can stand all day long and not have one step, as you can imagine. So, but it allows the circulation to flow through your body. So I think a combination of just not sitting all day, so steps as well as standing, if you're working, 9, 10, 12 hours or whatever it is, I think is an important combination, if you will.
We talked a little bit off the air about plant-based eating, David. 2010, I had a common friend say, hey, can you interview this guy? Wants to get a little visibility. His name was Ethan Brown. And Ethan had a little company called Beyond Meat, and he was just starting it. And of course I interviewed him, and I had him on again in 2013. And now we know where Beyond Meat is. Is plant-based eating and better eating a part of our future for everyone who wants to be their best self?
I hope so. I think so. I think, there's no doubt that you can get all the protein you need from a plant-based diet. You know this, John. You're a vegetarian/vegan, or I can't remember where you are in your spectrum.
Right. But yeah, pretty much so. That's where I'm at.
You can get everything you need from a plant-based diet. You don't need to go out and eat cows all day long and have these mass farming activities. And again, I don't want to be political on your show either, but yeah, I think I'm a big fan of plant-based eating. Like I said, I'll cheat every once in a while.
We all do.
I'm not opposed to having the odd steak here and there.
Right.
But to your point, I definitely try and stay more plant-based, and I feel healthier than I've ever felt.
David, in terms of an ROI, from a real business and bottom line perspective, healthier employees means healthier company, means better revenue, better profits.
Yep.
When your business development people are speaking to guys like me or my director of HR, how does that equate? Can you just, without going into strict numbers, what does it really look like? And when you say, hey, John, it's going to cost this much, but here's what from our other 3,000 clients, here's what we're seeing. They're all seeing a lot of benefit in 15 million members. Is it really compelling? The numbers compelling when it comes to healthier employees?
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's one of the key aspects of Home Base for Health is really to be able to ingest claims data and figure out how do we solve for gaps in care, and how do you think about population health and health outcomes. And right now, we're showing that we're saving just north of about $1,000 per employee per year. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but if you have 20,000 employees, that's $20 million. So
gosh,
there's a massive ROI. I think the bigger point is how do we get to really focus on not just using claims ingestion, but also to figure out true gaps in care, a true harder ROI, and really get in front of people that have potential problems looming.
You know, David, I really don't like it when the media talks about, oh, we can't wait till science wins and we all get vaccinated or get herd immunity or some combination thereof, and we go to a new normal. And I think new normal is such a defeatist term. I like the terminology new better. Talk a little bit about where you're going to take Virgin Pulse in the years to come, and your obviously your home base for health, which I love, one place for all the information. And how do we all get to a new better when we get through this very tragic COVID period?
Yeah, I think not to be too repetitive, but home base for health and the one platform that has everything all encompassing from health, well-being, employee engagement, navigating the complexity of healthcare system, and really driving health outcomes, which is what it's really all about. And that's what we're striving for.
Got it. So where do you, how big is this, you know, a guy like you who understands software, who understands data, who understands scaling, you don't join something just to manage it. How big can this really get in the years ahead?
Yeah, I think it can get really big. We're going to have a fantastic year. And, you know, most CEOs talk about bookings and revenue and EBITDA, and those aren't bad words, by the way. EBITDA is not a bad word. But,
right.
But at the end, the bigger we get, candidly, the more lives we change for good. And we just had our company kickoff. And one of the questions, we had a lot of really fun questions. Nothing really serious, but the only kind of real serious business question was, hey, Dave, it's 15 years from now. I'm a brand new person in our client success group. You're handing over the reins of CEO to me. Where do you see us in I think it was where do you see us in 5 years?
Okay.
And I said, well, honestly, I would love to see us have 100 million members on our platform, not 15. That's a lofty goal, but I think a good one. And that's almost a third of the country, which would be pretty exciting to be able to change that many lives and businesses for good. Is really what our mission is all about. And our vision is great. Our vision is innovation and getting home base for health complete and having as many members on that. But the mission is really changing lives and businesses for good. So having 100 million people that are healthier and happier and showing up for work engaged or more engaged is pretty exciting. You think about 75-80% of the workforce is not engaged. This is even pre-pandemic. They're just not engaged at work, and being healthier and happier helps with that as well. So,
well, I hope your goal comes true, because if we get 100 million people on Virgin Pulse, we're going to have a healthier and better country.
Correct.
And so I just want to thank you for your time today. I want to encourage our listeners, our readers, and our viewers to go to www.virginpulse.com. Find David, find his colleagues, find a way to become a new better instead of a new normal. Dave Osborne, you're making a great impact. You're making us all be better, be our best selves. Thank you for making the world a better place. And thank you for being with us on the Impact Podcast today.
Thanks, John. I enjoyed it.
This edition of the Impact Podcast is brought to you by Engage. Engage is a digital booking engine revolutionizing the talent booking industry. With hundreds of athletes, entrepreneurs, speakers, and business leaders, Engage is the go-to spot for booking talent for your next event. For more information, please visit letsengage.com.